Hello everybody guys! Today we're gonna review the Rusted Moss. Rusted Moss takes the standard metroidvania with the double jumps and replaces it with a challenging but extremely satisfying grappling hook. Some people might find the grapple a challenge at first, but I found as I played more, I was able to improve my skill quickly. And once you do, wow, this game really opens up. The satisfaction of landing a sick grappling sequence or breaking the game in ways that, while intended, allow for a high level of creativity in how you approach the game. Once the game clicks, you feel like Spider-Man swinging around as he places. The game also has optional climb challenges for those who stray off the beaten path that push the limits of the grappling hook even further. The game grapple challenges alone would have justified my purchase, as are extremely fun and allow you to attempt to improve your time, pushing you to better and better. However, the grapple isn't the only element of the game, and to ignore the other element will be a mistake, as they are also excellent. The gunplay is tight and satisfying, and playing with mouse and keyboard allows for the precise aiming, giving me a sense of complete control of my character. When I make a mistake, I know it was an execution issues on my end, not a cheap trick from the game. Save points are abundant, which allows you to experiment and go for challenge that otherwise might have seemed too risky. Boss fights have always been the thing I look forward to the most in Metroidvanias, and Rusted Moss does not disappoint on this front. Especially love when the grappling look is integrated into the fight itself, as it adds a new element that I have not experienced before this. Platforming also flows fluidly into a combat. Frequently you are expected to make use of your movement skill to maneuver in boss and enemy wave mini-boss arenas. The bosses all feel unique and demand that use you acquire arsenal to the best of your abilities and to fit the situation while having wildly different attack patterns and to a slightly lesser extent arenas. The only thing I wish I could do, but my knowledge couldn't bind specific weapon select hotkeys instead of needing to bring up weapon wheel. I feel like I wouldn't vary my weapon use more had I been able to do so from the buttons on the side of my mouse, as I often find weapon wheels to be somewhat cumbersome. There are fewer truly game-changing upgrades than there are in most Metroidvanias, but I think that actually fits this game design much better than if the normal amount of travelers upgrade existed. I had very little difficulty figuring out what was just off reach and difficult to get to, and the few areas I confused the later for the former on I was able to come back to later in the game with a fresh perspective and better understanding of the mechanics to pick up what I missed without a guide. Usually there is a tricky item or two that announce me and I need to look up a guide for a Metroidvania, even very good ones. But I was able to figure out how to get 100% of this item myself. And there were a few that were still pretty rewarding challenge to figuring out. The story is an interesting take with morally ambitious character fighting for their lives in a war between the few and humans, with talk of prohibitions, secrets, traitors, and double agent. I was fully invested into the story and wanted to progress to find out what would happen next. The music of the game adds to the atmosphere beautifully, immersing me further and further into the game, going from making me feel transported into the world to being hyped during a boss fight or being scared and uneasy in an optional zone that become my instant favorite. The themes of the setting sought, not in all cases, historically have some political or sociological context to them. It seemed pretty evident to me that the developer were aware and considerate of this context while not allowing them to occupy more space than they needed, to which I really like and to my understanding. It's difficult to get right. Rusted Moss also does my favorite things with using fear as a literary device, to call attention to how much harm humans do to each one of the Metroidvania genre. Rusted Moss is a fresh take with a lot of fun challenges and upgrades to explore. I highly recommend the game especially to those who click with the grappling hook, as it opens up the world in a way that I would find exciting. Thank you for watching, guys. Goodbye.